All right, had an issue where I started seeing fluid oil here seep from this area right at the bottom of the pivot point. I looked it up online, did some research. Apparently it's not too much of a big deal. Usually what happens is the fluid gets hot in here and builds pressure, gases, whatnot. So some of that oil seeps through here, through this seal. Now, I went out and I power washed it off. And what I'm gonna do is put some gear oil in here. Seems like it's a little bit thicker, a little bit more better for this type of application than what comes with it. I'll show you the two different ones right now. So down here you have the drain plug. This is where we're gonna drain all the oil that's in the front axle. Right up here you have the gauge with the dipstick in it for the oil, and these are the breather plugs. Now this dipstick is not on the other side. This is the front side, front left if you're sitting in the driver's seat. This is not on the other side, it's only here, but the drain plug and the breather plug are on both sides. Drain here, and apparently you gotta clean this, fill it back up with the oil, and you should be good. Now, what comes in it is the Super UDT2 oil here, and I'm gonna replace that with Mobil 1 Synthetic 75 W90 gear oil. And this oil for me, it's my coffee. There's no reason why it's on the trailer other than I power washed it and I just left it up there so I don't have to bend down too much while I'm working on it. Okay, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna check the oil level, see how much I lost in there. Oh, it's kind of grimy too. Make sure I clean that real good. Yeah, it's pretty grimy. Give it a good cleaning here. I live out in the desert, so there's a lot of dirt, sand everywhere. I'll get my O-ring remover, take that out, and clean real good under there. All right, pretty clean. Looks good now. I'm gonna do the same here carefully, not to drop anything in there. All right, see some fluid in there. I don't think there's enough. Well, yeah, it's registering. I'm about halfway up the stick. This thicker part right there. So it looks like it's good. But see, this oil, the UDT oil, drips off of there, kind of like, it's very, kind of like water, I guess, you know, a little bit thicker. The other oil we got is much thicker, much better. Let me put this O-ring back before I lose it. Okay, now I'm gonna have to get the tractor up on ramps because it's not gonna fit. The pan's not gonna fit down there. Actually, it's just a 5-gallon bucket that I cut. I'll get it up on ramps here real quick. Now the plug is down here, so I have to make sure I got at the edge of the ramp as much as possible. So when they drop into the bucket, it'll actually drop into the bucket and not onto my ramps. We don't need we don't need the funnel. It's not very thick, this stuff. It drips off of my finger. pretty easy. A little bit thicker than water, but we'll see how the other one looks. I let that drain out. We'll do the other side real quick. I'm also gonna have to replace this boot here. That's shot. I do both. The other side looks good, but I'll end up doing both at the same time. I don't see. This is just a bolt as well. I don't see much to it. There is something in there. Looks like it belongs there though. It's a little, yeah. I'll put some metal on there. Now, according to the book, it says it takes 4.7, I believe. But it's pretty up there now. And that was only 2 liters. I'm sorry, 2 quarts. Let me see. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it back down and then take the measurement that way. Let me do that real quick. Now I just checked and I have 357.1 hours on my BX. Not sure if I'd have to change those seals out eventually or not. I mean, not eventually, I know I will eventually, but because of my mic went out at this point, lost the battery and I didn't know it. But I'm gonna go ahead and operate the tractor for about a week or two and end this video with information whether this worked or not. In case you wanted to do it to your own tractor. Here in this portion of the video, I only put in 2 quarts. According to the book, it was 4.7 liters, but I only put in the 2 quarts, and the 2 quarts was enough to fill up that front axle according to the dipstick. This bigger portion of the dipstick I'm about to show you here is the actual gauge from those 2 areas right there. And with the 2 quarts, it put me right up to the top of the marker. So I'm not sure where the misinformation came from. I did operate the tractor for a little bit after this, moved around some equipment and did a little bit of cleanup, and so far there was absolutely no leak. You can see it there. The mark is towards the top of the indicator. So the 2 quarts is what worked for me. I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here, and I will continue in about 2 weeks to let you know if any leakage occurred. Okay, and here's a short video shot about 3 days later. As you can see, it's all pretty clean, pretty much the same as when I power washed it off. I did move around some equipment and I did do a little bit of work with it, so I put some hours on it, and it looks good. Before that, probably would have been dripping already on the pavement wherever I parked it. So this worked for me. Before you go out and do your seals, try this. Might work for you as well. And this is what I put in it: Mobile One API GL5 certified synthetic gear lubricant.